I don't know what's going on. How about now? Is it okay now? All right, I got my phone here, so let me see if I can pull something up. I don't know what's going on. Yes, plural amps. Fixed? Okay, I restarted my interface. There we go. All right. I'm glad you guys got some entertainment out of it to start. Let me go back on this thing real quick. I got to see what I missed. Fixed? Okay, I restarted Come on, man. I'm almost kind of sad I fixed it now. I should have done the whole thing like that. I'm trying to hear it. I have no idea why it's like that. That's awesome, though. That makes me happy. Yeah, you guys weren't lying. That's goofy. All right, now I gotta shut the damn video down. Is one, dude? I wish one was a KSR. I tried to buy that Orthos, but that dude wasn't having it. I'm like, here, let me give you more money than you would get on Reverb, and he's like, nah, man, give me less. I want to go through Reverb, and I want less money. Yeah, Ben, it's on. This whole live stream gets recorded, so it'll be up later. So whoever watches this after the fact, they're gonna get some good entertainment for sure. Um, what's up, Mark? How's it going, man? Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it. All right, so Why don't we get to some gear? Because I only got till 9 o'clock tonight. Yeah. I got a few new amps. Yes, a few new amps. And I also got a couple new pedals, too. So you guys let me know. The one I'm going to do a demo on for sure. But I'm only going to do... Dude, if you guys start paying me $10 every time I have a chipmunk voice, I'm going to figure out how to do that every time. If that's how I make money, I'm not above it.
You're so dumb.
My girlfriend's making fun of me because she thinks she's cool, but she's going to throw carrots down the stairs again like she did last night.
Actually, I'm eating your Reese's.
I don't really care. All right, so, yeah. The first pedal that I got, it actually came in today. I didn't think it was going to come in yet, but it showed up a day early. This is one that I kind of debated on buying for a long time because I borrowed one from Jason, and I just didn't get a chance to play it. I wanted to play it and never really had an opportunity, and it's kind of a really popular pedal, so I figured I might as well just buy it and put it on the channel, and you guys, you know, a lot of you guys have actually requested this one too. So the first one I got is the Highwind Direwolf. This is the White Walker version. All white, glows in the dark. She yeah. Tell her that, man. Let her know. Let her know. But anyways, yeah, I'm really psyched to try this out because people have been suggesting this Overdrive to me for a long time, and never really got a chance to play it, so I'm definitely going to do a full-on demo on this thing and express my true thoughts. I bought this from Jordan. Full price. It wasn't a gimme. So, yeah, that is one that I've been very excited about for a while. I've heard a lot of good things about this, so I'll probably put it through like the JCM 800 with the hot mod in it. And then maybe, what else do you guys want to see me put this drive through? Because I can do 2 amps at one time. So JCM 800 with the hot mod and something else. You tell me what you guys want to see, and that's what it'll go through. Give me some suggestions. That'll help me out. I'm not getting any of your guys' chats all of a sudden, or maybe nobody's talking to me. That's probably what happened. All right, cool. I'm not getting any remarks, so nobody cares about the Direwolf, apparently. What's up, Steve? Mr. Bill here, coming live. Okay, so nobody cares about the Direwolf, so that's good. Everybody's still laughing at the chipmunk voice. The JHS, probably the Bonsai. That's you're talking about, Andrew. I've never checked out the Bonsai. I am really interested in it. I know that was popular a couple years back. T-Rex Diva Drive. I've never even heard of that, man. I'll look into it for sure. I'm down to demo whatever. I just need to figure out if I can get one at a decent price because I don't like buying stuff and selling it at a loss. So 5150 in a dual rec. Yeah, it is the Bonsai, Andrew. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I definitely would like to try the Bonsai. I think that would be sweet for sure. Bonsai is legit awesome. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I mean, the more good things I hear about it, I'll take a look for one. If I can find one at a decent price, I'd love to put that on here. I always thought that thing looked super interesting. Doesn't it? How many modes does it have? You don't know the Direwolf? Come on, bro. So, very microphonic. Ooh, that's not good. Give me one sec. Huh?
Sounds like it's going well.
It is going well. You gonna stand up there and listen like a fucking weirdo the whole time? All right, so I do have both of these. If you guys would like to see demos on these, I'm currently borrowing. One is the Savage Drive V4, which I had a chance to play, and it actually sounds really good. I just sold a Savage Drive V2 to one of my friends. I was going to do a demo on it, but I didn't have enough time, and I didn't really see what the point was because they're not making them anymore. So I've got the Savage Drive V4, and then I've got the Parallel Overdrive from Aris Effects. So would really like to get both of those demoed here sometime soon, but somebody mentioned Aris, so I figured I'll bring these up too. I'm borrowing these. These are not mine, but I can definitely make demos on these guys for sure. I know these are two really popular ones right now. So, the Direwolf. Yeah, I'm surprised you guys don't know about the Direwolf. That's surprising. How do I feel about the multi-watt versus the Rev F dual rec? I like the multi-watt better. I've only really briefly gotten to play a Rev F. I had the Rev E that's on my channel. I did a couple videos with the Rev E dual rectifier. That one sounded really good, but man, this last multi-watt I have sounds awesome. It sounds really, really good. It's still got a really big low end, but it's got way more mids, and the low end's tighter and punchier, but you can make it real full if you want. So I think the multi-watt's the best rectifier series amp that they've done, and I've owned the Tremoverb, the Roadster, Road King, a whole bunch of 2 channels, whole bunch of 3 channels, so multi-watt's my choice. Yeah, Luke, White Walker version, very cool. I wanted that specific one. Jordan actually kind of hit me up a couple times, and I was real wishy-washy about it just because I don't like buying stuff new for the most part. Especially a $200 pedal, unless it's something I really, really want. And no offense to him, I think it's a really cool looking pedal. I just it just didn't quite spark my interest enough to spend that $200 price tag. But I mean, look at the thing. It's got all sorts of different settings to mess with. It's basically made to work with any amp with all the settings. So really, once I thought about it, I'm like, actually, that would be a really cool pedal to have. So. JHS Strong Mid. I've never played the Strong Mid. Have I ever tried any orange high gain amplifiers? Wallace, I have never tried any of the orange high gain amps personally. Jason, my other guitarist, had a Thunderverb, the 200, I believe, and that thing was pretty good. It sounded, honestly, it kind of surprised me. I expected the oranges, all the oranges that I've played have been kind of like woolly and like flubby sounding. This one was really tight and really saturated with a very strong mid focus. So it was actually almost too focused in the mids to where the amp sounded a little bit narrow. But overall, I thought the tone was really good. So, saw my post on the boost knob on the Invective. But man, when I tried it, I still couldn't get past that upper mid tone that's very present. See, when I fixed... So guys, on my Invective video, I screwed up. I try to do a lot of research before I do any demos of amps because I don't want to use them improperly and give people the wrong impression. Unfortunately, that's kind of what happened with the Invective. I didn't attach the foot switch at all after I got the amp, and I didn't realize that the master boost was only activated if you had the foot switch in, and then it remembers where it was the last time that you had the foot switch engaged. So the last user definitely had it low. So unfortunately, the whole time I was demoing the amp, it was like the master boost was completely off. So I plugged the foot switch in and turned the master boost on again, and it like opened the amp up completely. So I feel like an asshole now, but I'm gonna make a follow-up video next week. It'll probably be one of the next videos I shoot actually, and get that up soon so I can show you guys that I made a mistake. My initial thoughts on the amp are not correct because I wasn't using it properly. So yeah, that's my bad. Thanks to everybody who commented on the video, because nobody was like, you stupid idiot. Everybody was like, hey man, what about the master boost? Which I had dimed. Everybody said dime the master boost, but I'm like, this doesn't seem to make any difference. Turns out you got to have the foot switch plugged in. So I thought I had done enough research to use the amp properly. Turns out I did not, and unfortunately my video is now forever incorrect. So hopefully the new video does better than the old video and people find the new video. Stoneham? I've never heard of Stoneham. Thanks, David. I appreciate it. I'll have to look into Stoneham. I've never heard of them. Glad you like the M77 Badass Modified Overdrive, though. That's been my favorite overdrive for a really long time. I love that thing. Um, the Direwolf is pretty aggressive, and I like to get my hands on one, honestly. Um, yeah, Josh, honestly, I loved my MXR for so long that I just never really looked into new boost pedals. Jason got a Grid Slammer a couple years ago, and I thought that sounded cool, so that's how I ended up with my Grid Slammer. And then Derek, my other guitarist in Bushido Code, got a KHDK Ghoul Screamer, and I thought that sounded really good, so I grabbed one of those. But I really haven't gotten any new boosts up until recently, and now I'm kind of on like a boost pedal kick because there's a lot of really cool stuff, especially from the smaller builders out there that I just never really knew about because I was never really hunting for it. I was always looking for amps, so yeah, there's a lot of cool boost drives out there. I'm starting to build a little pile up myself. Did you make a mistake for selling your stealth? Only you can really determine that, Travis, but I know I'm not going to sell mine. I know that. That's one of my favorite amps for sure. It's a great one. Um, People hype the F a lot, but I've really... Yeah, the multi-watt's kind of supposed to be similar to the Rev F. I think Mesa caught on to the fact that people thought that the Rev F was really popular. I could be completely wrong here. It's all speculation, but they tightened the amp back up with the multi-watt for sure. They tightened it up, and now it's definitely more percussive in the lows and less like flubby, and the mids seem to be focused a little higher. So, in my opinion, it's the best one that they've done since then. I should try an amp tweaker tight drive. Dominic, I'd love to, man. I'd love to try a tight drive. Rocker Verb, Dalton. Yeah, I'd love to try a Rocker Verb. There's so many. I've tried so many things, but there's still so many left for me out there. Kevin asked, am I still loving the Badlander? Yes, I still love the Badlander. Jason used it at practice the other day for the band that I played drums in, and he paired it with an Archon 100, and I thought the Badlander sounded better to my ears, but, you know, it's all subjective. The Badlander was cutting better than the Archon was, I'll say that. Tone Wars, what's up, Jared? Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Kyle, I would love to get my hands on a Driftwood Purple Nightmare. Trust me, I kind of set my amp spend limit at like $2,500. If anything goes over that $2,500 range, I'm usually a little That's it's a little more than I like to spend. Even over $2,000 is just insane to me because I can't believe I have the expendable income to spend on amps like that. But I get to a point where I'm like, man, that's a lot of money on an amp. That's for sure. But I would love to get one. So if I ever get the chance to get one in here, I absolutely will do a whole bunch of demos with it because I know they're very hyped. The videos sound great, so I'd definitely like to have one. You were Travis. I was on the fence the whole time. I owned the Stealth. I sold it and replaced it with the 50-watt Stealth. Something about the mid-tone on it. Sorry, Travis. I don't know. Oh, you sold the Invective for the Stealth. Okay, yeah. I'm a little behind on reading here. The Stealth, I would take the 50-watt Stealth over the Invective any day of the week, no doubt on that. Even with the Invective operating correctly, now that I figured out how to use it and took the user error part out of it, I still would choose the Stealth, no doubt. What a time to be a guitarist. Yeah, no doubt, man. Seriously, there's so many awesome choices, and we get new amps all the time coming out. Even in the pandemic, we get a brand new Rev generator. Rev actually, I'm talking to Derek about getting one of their loaners of the Mark III generator. That blows my mind that he's even willing to consider me for one of his demos. So that's super cool because I've only been at this for a couple of months. But thank you to Derek. Super excited about that. I really want to get a KSR on the channel too. So if you guys, I don't like reaching out to people and asking them for stuff. I'll be completely honest. I don't want to be that guy. I'm a brand new YouTuber, so I just want to continue to build the channel and build my reputation, hopefully. And then people will reach out to me, but I have the means to get pretty much whatever I want on the channel within reason, so I don't like asking for freebies or asking for favors. Now, if people offer them, I'll probably say yes, but I don't want to be that guy that's desperate. So, yeah, Travis, that's your call on the Invective, seriously. If you like the features, it's packed with awesome features. If you just want a head and you really don't want to bring any extra pedals or anything, you want to plug straight into your head, that thing has it all. But whether the tone is for you or not, that's for you to decide. So just keep in mind, more money doesn't equal more tone. I'm going to do a video on that soon. Just because you spent more money on an amp doesn't mean that you're going to like it better. Um, Really, price has no bearing on how much you like the sound of an amp. And as we all know, used 6505s for $400 sound incredible, and there's a reason why everybody uses them. Yeah, partially because they're cheap, but also because they sound great. So, yeah, I'm not a snob when it comes to stuff, man. If an amp sounds good and it costs $200, I'm gonna play it all day for $200, and I'm not gonna care what the name is or what the reputation is. So, um, how's the quest for the Triple Crown going? Well, I bought one a few days ago for $1,200 off Guitar Center's website, and they canceled the order because somebody bought it in store the same day. So that would have been a serious score on my end, and I kind of got shysted out of that one. So I'm a little bummed. So I'm still looking. If you guys see a Triple Crown, I'm really looking for the 50 over the 100 so I can shoot it out with a Badlander 50, but even 100 for a good price, I'll take it. Let me know. Um, Jared, I have very, very briefly tried the Precision Drive. I actually almost bought one on Guitar Center the other day because they had a used one for 169 bucks, which seems to be a pretty good price for them, but I haven't really used them yet. So that's one I'd like to get just for my own use. I won't make a demo of it because that pedal's been done to death and all the hype is gone, so there's no reason for me to do a demo on it, but I would definitely like to get one for my own use and experimentation for sure. Um, Sean, how do I feel about the Lunchbox amps? No, I actually think that the Lunchbox amps serve an awesome purpose, and that is A, playing in a mic'd scenario. It's a perfect amp if you are going to be mic'd and you can't have a lot of stage volume and you want your amp to sound good. And B, recording. If you do recording at home or anything, the Lunchbox amps, most of them sound really, really good. And they may not quite sound as big in the low end as some of their, full size counterparts, but if you're recording, you can add that in afterwards. You can just bump your low frequencies a little bit, and you don't have to blow the neighbors away, with a really loud amp to get good tones. Not that most of the high gain stuff needs to be turned up loud these days anyways, but I have no problem. I'm starting a Lunchbox series. A couple of the amps that I got, you'll see shortly. I have not messed with any of the digital stuff, Travis. I actually have an Axe Effects AX8 that I'm going to sell soon. I wanted to get into it, but I just have so many amps to do for the channel that I don't even have the time to touch on the digital stuff right now. So I will save that for the future. People had mentioned they want me to get a Kemper and do some profiles and maybe give away some profiles as part of like a Patreon thing if I start a Patreon. So I'll consider that, but I haven't done anything with the Helix yet. I'm interested in that stuff for sure, but I just haven't had the time to sink into it yet. Yeah, I've heard great things about the Rev stuff, man. I can't wait to get it on the channel. It's super super exciting. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. It'd be cool if the channel got big, but not really what I'm aiming for. I'm just, I like this. This is awesome to me. Having, there's 44 of you guys here right now just talking about gear. So that's more than I had hoped for when I started out. So thank you guys for being here. Favorite set of 6L6s or 5881s? I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't really care about power tubes all that much. They, in the grand scheme of things, don't really matter that much. There are very subtle differences between brands of 6L6 and brands of EL34, and EL34 there's a lot more variance. With 6L6 there's not much, so I will get whatever I can get a good price on, and get a matched quad and throw them in, and that's it. I don't really care, to be honest. Not that that's just my opinion. They don't matter as much as people make them out to be, or they're not that important within their family of tubes. Now with like EL34s, you've got KT77s, you've got EL34Bs, E34Ls, EL34-2s. You know, KT88s are technically part of that family. So 60A7s, there's tons of variants in the EL34 side, but in the 6L6, it's kind of all the same thing with a different name on it. Do I think the 5153 EL34 would be redundant if you already had the stealth? Well, the 50 watt or the 100 watt, there's differences between all of them. If you only have 2 amps and you want to go for 2 different tones, I wouldn't get two 5150s because they're all fairly close to each other. So we'll say that. Yeah, we'll see what the new 5150 amp's going to be. I know they're going to release something, but I just don't know what it is yet. I'm definitely interested in that. Whatever it is, I'll put it on pre-order and we'll get it on the channel as soon as it comes out for sure. Death Metal for Life. Yeah, I'm always posting in the Chug Life group. I love that group. That's Frank Hauser's group. It's a lot of good people in there for sure. It's a good group to be in. It's all about the speakers. Yeah, speakers and cab make more of a difference than people give them credit for sure. Matching the speakers and cab to the amp is important. I have found a couple cabs that I feel like work with almost all of my amps. They're like universally good, but then there's some that are just picky. Some cabs are picky with the amp. Some amps are picky with the cab. So, what's up, Andre? Thanks for being here, man. Rank them. Shockwave, Disciple, and Brother's Keeper. Disciple, way up here. Shockwave, in the middle. And I'm sorry, EMS and Bobby. You know I love you guys, but Brother's Keeper, down here. I just could never get on with the Mike Ski voice, but you guys know Disciple is one of my favorites, so... I'm waiting for the MT100 too. MT15 is the king of lunch boxes. I'm getting lost here. All right, I'm back. Yeah, I agree, Kev. I think I have all the 5150 medals because, or all the 5150 amps because I'm just an idiot and I love to buy amps, but they're pretty redundant for the most part. Any of the 5150, 6505 plus, any of that stuff. Anyways, so yeah, we're a half hour through and I've only shown you one piece of gear. So here's the other one. I know this was popular a couple years ago, but Jason was selling one for a decent price, so I just picked this up off of him. If you guys want to see a demo on that, let me know. I've been interested in this one for a while, never got to play one, so Seymour Duncan 805 Overdrive. Excited to get that one going. All right, first amp is, somebody just mentioned it, the MT15. I actually had one of these already, but Guitar Center sent it, and it was busted. So, got a replacement. This one is not busted. They've been breaking a lot of my amps lately. It's making me mad. But oh well. Andrew, you plugged... Yeah, the MT15. I actually used it for a show with my 5150 50 watt like 2 years ago, and it held its own against the 50 watt all day. It was actually at Preserving Hardcore, Andrew. So, yeah, I used it in that little space, and it was plenty loud enough. So, the MT15, that'll be coming up here soon. Second amp is right here. The original EVH Lunchbox. I had this amp a few years ago, and I actually thought it sounded really, really good. I really like this amp. I'm really happy to have one again because they're really fun to play. But, yeah, I made a post on Chug Life, I think it was, and Heavy Metal Amps and Pedals looking for one. And Brian hit me up and sold this to me for a great price, so I appreciate it, Brian. That's amp number 2. Okay, so amp number 3 is one I'm actually real excited about. This is the LBX Stealth. So I just got this the other day at Guitar Center. My buddy Colin, who plays in the band Purgatory, who just put out a new single from their record today, so you guys should look that up, Purgatory. He hooked me up with a friends and family coupon, so I got like 20 or 25% off of this thing brand new, and they just happen to have one in stock at the Guitar Center in Erie, which they usually don't have much, so I got lucky. So I picked this one up, so we're going to do some cool demos with this thing in the near future here too. So yeah, that does it for the Lunchbox amps, but I've got 2 new full-size amps too. Well, I have 1 new full-size amp, and then the other one I am borrowing for a couple days from Jason because he's a good guy and lets me bang around on all his gear. So yeah, we're gonna have some cool demos with the MT15 and Lunchbox. I'm gonna put the MT15 up against the Archon, put it up against the Lunchbox Stealth heads, and whatever else you guys want to see. Yeah, that's what I heard, Kevin. It's not really 15 watts. I don't know what the power output is rated for, but it's got 2 6L6s. I actually usually put EL34Bs in mine because I like the EL34 a little bit better. Fills the mid-range out a little bit better in my opinion. But yeah, it feels louder than 15 watts, no doubt. Yeah, so that is because of the transformer. Brian, I don't know. I don't know why. The full-size tubes definitely help. The thing that I hate about the EVH LBX amps is that they have EL84s in them, and that bums me out because EL84s fall apart at high volumes. They can get loud, but they get real farty and abrasive and just gross sounding when you crank them. So, unfortunately, yeah, the EL84s don't sound good when you really push them. If EVH even put 6v6s in these things instead of EL84s, I think they would hold up better under volume. But part of that is also the... sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Part of that is also the power transformer. It's not just the tubes, it's a transformer too. So, I don't know if the MT100 will replace the Archon. I'm pretty sure that they discontinued the Archon though, so I'm guessing that that's their plan. I think Tremonti had a hand in the Archon design. Wasn't that his amp for a little while? And then the MT15, and now he's doing the MT100. I think that's how things went. David, yeah, I mean, I know it's definitely more than 15, but I don't know how much more. You're probably right. I haven't really looked into it enough. All I know is it was loud enough to play in the band mix with my 5150 50 watt and have no issues, and that it also was loud enough to go up against a Splon, because Derek uses a Splon for Bushido code, and I used the MT15 for practice one day and had no problems hearing both. So it holds its own, no problem. Yeah, everybody says the MT15 is noisy. I haven't played one since I had one like 2 years ago and sold it. So I don't remember it being noisy, but I could be wrong, or I could just, be misremembering. I don't remember having issues with it, but I know a lot of people say that they do. Tube shields on the MT15. Yeah, you could probably put like the little rubber gaskets or grommets or whatever you want to call them around the tubes, and that would probably help with noise issues. I don't know for sure though. But, alright, so the amp that I'm borrowing from Jason is right here. Oh, God. And that is the Savage 120. So, a lot of people were asking me about, do I like Angle for a long time? On all my FAQs, I was getting questions about Angle amps. And generally, I don't like them very much. The ones I've played anyways. So, I really wanted to get some different ones that I hadn't played on here. I want to get a Fireball 100 for sure. The Savage and the Invader are the other twos that I wanted to get on. So, Savage 120. I did my first demo on it today, actually, on my lunch break, and it sounded really good. So, yeah, I've got high marks on this thing so far. We're gonna put it up against a 5150 and a dual rectifier for sure, and then maybe the Diesel Herbert, and then maybe the Bogner Ubershaw. You guys tell me what you want to see up against the Savage 120 here, and we will do it. I probably got till middle to end of next week with it, and then I got to give it back to Jason. So, thanks to Jason for letting me borrow this bad boy. Once I get this back to him, I'm going to try and get the Omega Granifier back off him for a couple more videos with that thing. But he's been lending me amps and pedals left and right, so I appreciate it. German shootout, Engel versus Diesel. Yeah, we can do that. I think the Herbert wins, but that's just my opinion. All right, last one. This came in today. Splawn Nitro. I was super excited to get another one of these in. Let's go to your guys' comments real quick here. No, Andrew, the angle is massive. It's like as wide as a Marshall and as tall as, you know, PV Ultra Series. It's a big head. And I have a big head, so. Yeah, see, every angle that I've played, Mike, when you boost it, it sounds worse. They're already so compressed and like overgained, and this is the older ones. I've only owned older models, so that's what I'm speaking on. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the angles, and when you boost them, sometimes they get worse. This one I can confirm actually sounds really good with a boost. I might try to get that demo up tomorrow. I was gonna get my Soldano Avenger demo up, but I might try to get this angle up instead because I'm pretty excited about that one. The Soldano sounded great too, but I was digging this angle a little bit more than that. Yeah, thanks, Jared, man. I've had a couple Nitros before, and a buddy of mine recently got one, and I saw a recent one of your videos on one, actually. And I'm like, man, I need to get another Nitro. I've got all sorts of Splawn stuff, but they're all the quick rod type circuits. So I wanted to experiment with another Nitro, and I found one for a good price, so I said, you know, might as well grab it. This is another one that I actually made a post in Chug Life and Heavy Metal Amps and Pedals, and somebody linked me to the ad, and I was able to get it. So that's been working out well for me. So if you guys are one of the people that helped me get this amp, like 3 or 4 people linked me to this listing, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, David, I never played the Fireball 60, so I don't know. I've heard it live a couple times and it sounded okay, but didn't blow me away. It's also kind of hard to tell when somebody else is playing it and setting it up. I don't know. Yeah, the Splawn. I mean, it's the same size as a Marshall. They look huge. But it's the same size as like a JMP or a JCM 800 head shell, so they're just really wide. They're like as wide as a cab. Yeah, Engels, from what I understand, Engel is like Europe's PV. Like they're kind of like the meh, whatever brand that people kind of look down upon. That's just what I've heard, though. I'm not sure. Spawn modded 1987X on Guitar Center. That's not bad. I would like to hear one of his modded Marshalls versus one of his actual circuits. That would be cool for sure. Yeah, the Stealth definitely has some high gain hiss on the red channel, but I mean, there's so much gain and compression and everything going on. You're gonna have that pretty much regardless. But yeah, the blue channel is fairly not noisy, so I don't know. I don't find it to be a noisy amp by any means. The EVH100 is, yes it is, dude. The EVH100 is stupid large. I had a whole bunch of the original 100 watt heads back when they were a little bit more popular, like 2016, 2017. And yeah, I'm like, why is this is unnecessarily big. So I like the 50 watts a little bit better. And the original 100 watt EVH does not have the resonance controls on the back, so that's kind of a bummer. Savage Mark II, yeah, I'd love to try that one too, man. I've heard really good things about the newer Savages. Pretty much all of Engel's revised amps that they did like a second take on, like the Fireball 100, the Powerball 2, the Savage Mark II. Everybody says that the second version sounds way better than the first version. I've only gotten to play the first version, so unfortunately I don't really know. But I'm going to start looking for them for sure. The Savage is Engel's best amp. Yeah, it's the best Engel I've played, for no doubt on that. I plugged it in today and I immediately got a good tone with pretty much everything at noon, so that's always a good sign. Yeah. Yep, the hiss definitely has to do with like the gain stages, cascading gain, and everything else, so I don't know. That stuff's never really bothered me. Some of them are worse than others for sure. Like some of the old 5150s, not all of them, but some of them were really, really noisy, but they probably just needed a service, a visit to a good tech in order to take care of some parts that had drifted out of spec for sure. Yeah, Luke, the Stealth 50 is awesome, man. I love that amp for sure. Um, it's really tough for me. If I had to choose, I would choose the Stealth 50 over the Badlander. You guys also know that I don't think that the Stealth is like miles above the other or the other 50 watt models either. I think it's just better in the right areas, but I always tell people to go after the original 6L6 50 watt because you can find them for $500 or $600 used, whereas the Stealth is twice that, and it's really hard to find used. So I don't think it's worth twice the price, but I do think that it definitely improves on some areas for sure. Um, Jason, that's your call, really. I think have you played both amps? Have you played the Mark 535 and the Stealth? Because you may like one better than the other. Um, yeah, Kevin. Yeah, the 5150. I still love that amp. I did my shootout between the two the other day, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's definitely nothing wrong with those amps, 30 years later. They are staples in metal for a reason, man. They just sound awesome. And everybody, you know what it's going to sound like. That's the best part. When you plug into a 5150, I have not plugged into too many 5150s that didn't sound exactly how I thought they were going to sound unless something was seriously wrong with them. So, yeah, it's always nice to plug into a 5150 if you're borrowing someone's amp or using a backline somewhere, for sure. You've only listened to them over YouTube? Yeah, man, unless it's really tough for you, I would highly suggest playing them both for yourself because I even made a video on how YouTube demos really aren't super helpful. As much as I love you guys watching my channel and everything, you really don't get the full scope of how an amp's gonna feel in the hands, while you're playing it. So, South Alabama, thanks, Big Mike. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. JCA 20 is very underwhelming unless you mod it. I've never played the 20, Rich, so I don't know. I played the 50, and the 50 was actually really good. Could still, I think, have benefited from some mods as well. Definitely had a little bit too much gain going on and was a little bit muddy and could probably be a little bit tighter in the low end. But overall, I was really surprised with how good that amp sounded for them being worth like $300, $400. I bought mine for 200 and I sold it for 350, and the only reason I sold it is because somebody offered me money for it. I didn't even have it for sale. Yeah, I don't know. David, yeah, I had a Mojo Tone 4x12 cab that was basically a 1960 clone that had the 75s in it. I liked them, but on their own, they're pretty damn bright. They're pretty damn bright. They were a little too harsh for me actually. It could have been the cab itself that was accentuating whatever high frequencies that were in there. I liked it with some amps, but with Marshalls, it was just like highs and high mid overload. So I don't dislike the speakers, but they have to be with the right amp in order to make sense for sure. Um, See you, Sean. Thanks for hanging out, man. We'll do another one in a couple weeks, so come back. Just sold yours to truck driver Sean. Yeah, I think truck driver Sean just posted about that. What's up, Elijah? How's it going, bud? Oh, I have a relatively small guitar center. Yeah, yeah, same here, man. We've got a local shop, World of Music, which sometimes gets cool stuff in here and there, and then we've got a guitar center, which never gets anything cool in. The only cool thing that they've had in the couple years that they've been in our city is a Dietzel Lil Fokker, which I ended up buying and then returning because there was something wrong with the clean channel. But yeah, they don't very often get cool things in, so I have to buy something if I want to try it. When I first started collecting, buying, and selling gear, there was a lot more cool gear in my area, but all the live music has dried up, and a lot of the guys who are playing aren't playing anymore. So me and Derek and Jason are really the only three guitarists in Erie who get cool stuff to try. So we kind of trade everything out amongst ourselves, but there's nobody else who gets really cool amps in that you're not going to find anywhere else. Kevin, yes, I have used the 5150 on the green channel on the crunch setting. It's not my favorite, but it doesn't sound bad. It's just a little darker than I typically like. I love where the red channel is on the 5150. I think that sounds great. So tend not to go over to the green channel very often, but I have done it, and it doesn't sound bad. Creamback H75s. Yeah, I've tried them, man. I'll try them again. They're not on the top of my list, though. I don't dislike them. They're just not. They're not my favorite speaker. I like the M65 better. And also, I really want to try a pair of Celestion Redbacks. So, have any of you guys tried the Celestion Redbacks yet? I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on those. I love the V30. I love the K100. I've got a quad of older, like 80s G12 65s that sound really good. And I've got a Friedman and a Bogner cab that both have the V30 bottom and the greenback top combo, the 25-watt greenbacks. And both of those cabs sound really, really good. So I like those combos. I've got a vintage Marshall cab that I have V30s on the bottom and some actual vintage greenbacks on top. I like those. So I'm not closed-minded when it comes to speakers for by any means. I'm good, Elijah, man. Just hanging out, talking about guitars. Luke, House of Guitars is about 3.5 hours away from me, so somewhat close, but not super close. We did go there. Bushido Code played in Rochester 2 years ago, and we went in there and checked it out. It was crazy. They have a lot of stuff. USA 6505. Yeah. If I can get a Chinese 6505, I'll definitely shoot it out with my American 6505. I don't think we're going to hear any differences that are going to blow anybody away because they are still the same amp. They're just made in different places. But I'll do it if you guys want to see it. You're about the 20th person to ask me, so I mean, yeah, I'll get a Chinese 6505 at some point and shoot it out. Andrew, she wants to know that what my favorite donut is. Yeah, Mighty Fine. Duh. There's no other answer if you live in Erie. Mighty Fine. Jack Frost is second, but yeah, Mighty Fine's the best. Now, as far as like actual donuts, I like maple glazed cake donuts. That's where it's at. Oh, the clean setting with the gain dimed? No, Kevin, I haven't tried that. That sounds like settings for stupid people. No, I'm just kidding. I've never tried it, but I will. I'll give it a try. Jared, Redback is it's not your favorite. Okay, fair enough. What don't you like about it? I'm curious. What can you compare it to give me an idea of what you didn't like about it, if you don't mind? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, man. Jason, yes, I also ordered two of the DV77s, and I can't wait for them to show up, but they were supposed to be in stock middle of January, and they're still not, so who knows when we'll actually see them, but I do have a pair of those, and I'm going to put them in my Mesa 212 and record a clip before with the V30 and a clip after with the DV77 to show you guys how they vary, and then we'll use that cab for a few videos and see how they stack up. Sheldon, I have heard great things about the Bogner oversized 2x12s. I'd love to grab one, but they're always obnoxiously priced. Jamie loves the redback. Darker and meatier than an 875. Okay. Speaking my language. Jared says weird mids on the redback. Okay. I'll keep that in mind, man. I really want to splurge and just buy a pair of two new ones, but I have no idea if I'm going to like them, and seems like you lose about $50 a speaker on those when you buy them new, and I don't really like losing money, so. David says he didn't know what to think of the redback. Okay. So it sounds like I've heard really, really good reviews, and I've also heard some pretty, like, meh reviews, too. So, yeah. Kind of hard to make a determination, I guess. Play it for myself, right? Take my own advice. I got to play it for myself. Tremoverb is the combo. I've never played a Tremoverb combo. I bought and sold like 4 of the heads because I didn't like them at all. I wish I would have kept them because now they're worth a lot more than they were when I bought and sold them. Man, April, I don't want to wait that long. That's stupid. I want my gear right now. Kevin, speaking of the Tremoverb, though, I'm buying a 2-channel dual rectifier very soon. So I'll put that up against the Badlander and the multi-watt. I still have my 3-channel. I keep meaning to post my 3-channel rectifier for sale, but I keep not doing it, so I got to get that thing out of here. But got the DV77s back in November, signed by Mick. All right, cool. Now send them to me, Luke. Rich likes his G12 T75s. Rich, I like the T75s with Marshall amps and pretty much nothing else. I think they sound awesome with like the JCM 2000. They sound good with an 800. They even sound good with the JVM. But I do not like them with any other amp, especially the 5150. I hate the 75 with the 5150. They're not a bad speaker. I like my upper mids. So, you know, the 75 doesn't have any upper mids. It scoops a lot of that out, so it's just not the speaker for me. I've never tried the Warehouse Guitar Series Veterans. I've always wanted to try them, but custom Badlander. I think you mentioned to me something. What were you getting done to your Badlander, Kevin? Is it a rack mount or something? I don't remember. I have a terrible memory. Yeah, Steve is also talking about the 100-watt stealth. So I don't know if that works on the 50-watt stealth. Mr. Steve Alt, Steve's one of my really good friends who actually used to be in a couple of my bands and moved out to Lake Tahoe because he's a jerk. So I haven't seen him in a number of years, but he messaged me the other day and he's like, hey, this guy's selling I think an EVH Stealth and a PV Butcher cab. For what was it, Steve? What'd you get it for? Like $500? Got a 100-watt Stealth and a cab, or 2 cabs, I think. Both of the cabs ended up being junk, but still, I think he got the whole half stack for like $500 with a 100-watt Stealth. So, I'm jealous of that one. That's a deal right there, dude. I've wanted a 100-watt Stealth for a while. Tahoe's better than PA? Yeah, you're probably not wrong. Probably not wrong, man. Dean, $10 in a day, man. You're going crazy. You don't have to send me money. I appreciate it. I like money. But, thanks, man. I appreciate you being here, seriously. All right, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. Yeah, $500, Steve. $500 with a Marshall cab. That is a steal. That's an awesome deal. I'm glad you ended up grabbing that. That was a good one. But yeah, right now it's 9 o'clock and I have some stuff to do. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the questions. Thanks to Tone Wars for stopping by. That was really cool. See Jared hanging out and talking to people in the chat too. So I will try to do one of these maybe once every 2 weeks or something. You guys tell me how often I should do it. I don't want to do it too often. I want you guys to have questions and stuff to talk about and everything. So tell me how often you guys want to do these hangouts, and we'll get them going. I appreciate it. Favorite Hatebreed album? Dude, it's not even a question. It's Satisfaction is the Death of Desire. There is literally no other answer, and you can unsubscribe if you disagree with me on that. But yeah, all right. Cool, guys. Thank you again. Thanks for everybody stopping by. Steve, Andrew, Kevin, Luke, Dean, Brian, Josh, Toe Cutter. You didn't even ask any questions, Toe Cutter. Come on, man. You gotta chime in. Dean, I'll give you your $5 worth next time. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks again. We'll talk to you guys soon. I'm either putting up a Soldano Avenger 100 video or an Angle Savage video tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. I'll probably put it up around 9 o'clock. Have a good night, guys.